Hey, we're Luke and Amy, this is Taco, and today we're going to give you a tour of our tiny home on wheels.
So our van is no way professionally converted. It's not perfect like some of the other tours you might see here on YouTube. It's very lived in. We've lived in this van for 2 years now. It's a bit bodged here and there, but it's our home and it works for us right now. So let's get into the tour.
When we first got it, it was a rusty white van, so we had it repainted in Raptor Paint. It's meant to be super hard wearing, and it's in a really nice anthracite grey colour. Now on top of the van we've got our solar panel, 600 watt solar panel, so that pretty much allows us to be off-grid full time. On the very rare occasion we have to book into a campsite and hook up, but that's only a couple of times over winter. Alongside that we've also got a couple of vents, so at the front we've got a max air fan, and at the back we've got just a normal skylight, so by having the two open at the same time with the fan on, it really pulls the cold air through. Now underneath the van we've actually got two underslung water tanks, so they're both 55 litres, one's fresh, one's waste. So the freshwater one is this side. It's nice and easy to fill up because the entrance point to it is actually just the other side of the side end door. So fresh water to this side, waste is the other side, and it's again nice and easy to empty because just underneath it there's a big screw cap, so whenever we're at a campsite or something like that we can just unscrew it, drop all the waste out, and then it's nice and easy. But most of the interesting parts are on the inside, so let's jump in. Underneath me we've got a double seat, and just opposite we've got a little single seat, so it's really handy. Obviously with this table it's great for eating and that sort of thing, but I also work from here quite a bit, so there's more than enough room to have my laptop here, and then obviously wherever we're parked up we've got a nice big window so you can easily look out. But we recently had these seats redone, so we've got 4-inch thick foam, so it's actually nice and comfortable now that I am working from here a lot more. We kind of needed to do that. But obviously space is quite limited in a van, so under both of these seats we've got loads of storage. So under the single one we've got our bin, and then under this one we keep things like our shoes. We've also got the tank for the diesel heater as well, and then the outlet is actually just here as well, so that it pushes it out into the whole van. But that's the seats. The table, this is actually a really cool little tabletop. We got this from Amazon. I think it's only about 40 quid, and it's like reclaimed wood, and it has just a really nice kind of appearance. But we have also got a Lagoon swivel mount, which Taco really isn't going to like when I demonstrate it, but it's quite nice that you can move it around. So, sorry boy. So when we're moving and things like that, when you need to get in and out of the van, this comes completely flat against this bit of the van, so then there's loads of room in and out. And quite often if we are moving about a lot more, instead of actually sitting here, we will have it moved over to the side. It just gives it a bit more room. We've also got a couple of blinds here. For ages we were trying to find something decent. These are from Wonderbug, and they're like thermal blackout blinds, but they do just roll up and they magnet in place, so they're really nice and handy. Instead of having to find somewhere to store them, they can just roll back up, and yeah, a couple of buckles, and they work really well. And then lastly, just behind me we've got a hatch. This goes directly through to the front. We don't use it that often, but since we've had him we have actually used it a little bit more, because obviously when we first got him we didn't know if he was going to try and bolt out of the van by using the side door, so we have been climbing through. It's not overly easy to get through, but it is handy if we're ever parked up anywhere that we don't feel that comfortable. We can just jump through, get into the front, and then obviously drive away without actually leaving the van at all.
So then we have our bathroom area. So we have this little cubicle here, which we have our toilet and our shower in. We wanted a little cubicle so it felt a bit like a different room to the van. We do have a shower curtain that normally goes across here, but someone decides to climb it now, so we've had to tuck it up. But yeah, we have a toilet here. It's just a little porta potty, and then we have our shower, which we actually only use when we're on campsites and stuff, because our water tank, to have hot water we need to be plugged in, but all the rest of the time we do still just wash in here so water doesn't get everywhere. But yeah, that's it for the bathroom.
Well, I hope you're enjoying the tour so far. If you do have any questions about certain specifics of the van, then make sure you put them in the comments below. We'll reply to them as soon as possible, so if you've got any burning questions, get them down in them comments.
Moving on to our kitchen area. Up here we have 2 overhead cupboards. In this one we keep all our teas and coffees and plates, and in this one we keep all of our dry food, and they're both a really nice size. And then under here we have our towel rail, which is attached to underneath our cupboards, and then we have our full size sink, and this has a little draining area, which is really useful because when we do the washing up we're not just putting wet stuff all over the sides. And then we have our 2-burner gas hob. This is a Thermomate one, and it's really good, and that is attached to our gas bottle in our gas locker, and it has this little switch, so whenever we're not using it we can just switch it off, so to avoid any gas leaks or whatever. And then we have Luke's Obsession AeroPress, which annoyingly had to be stuck to the side.
It's important. Best part of the van.
And then we have our little caddy, which we keep all our like utensils in, all our cutlery, and then we stuck that down about 2 years ago, and it's not budged since, so happy with that. And then for our backdrop, we actually have real tiles, and it might be a bit controversial in a van because they are very heavy, but we just couldn't be bothered with the whole laminate tiles on sticking and not being able to clean very well, so we're very happy with these. And again, in 2 years they have not budged at all.
So I really thought they were going to crack.
No, they're perfect, so that's good. And then under here we have 3 cupboards. We have 2 big ones, a little one here. These big ones down here, we have all of our like kitchen utensils. We have this little thing which is very useful. These are 2 pots and a pan, but it's from a company called Fox, but they're really, really good. Very compact. We have our water heater down there, just tucked under there. And in this one we have our gas locker, which is very important because we have a dropout vent, which means that if a gas leak happens, all the gas will leak out the van and not inside the van. So yeah, very important to have. And then in this little end cupboard, we have our spices and chopping boards and stuff like that, but we also have our air fryer, which we absolutely love. It's so important to go with our 2-burner gas hob. The air fryer is perfect. We don't have an oven in here, but we don't need an oven with that.
So you wouldn't believe how awkward it can be to actually film a van tour. So that is why I'm on the floor to show you our fridge area. But we've got a 42 litre compressor fridge here, and it's actually really low power. So it doesn't really matter all throughout winter. We don't see much of a drain on it. It can be a fridge freezer, but because it's quite small, we can take the freezer compartment out and then maximise the actual fridge space. So that's what we've done. We've then got our EcoFlow. This is an original Delta. I think it's about 1,000 watt hours or something like that, but it's really powerful, and we use that to power our air fryer. In theory we could use that to power our water heater as well, but because the heater takes so much power to actually heat up the water, it's just not worthwhile, which is why we don't really use it for that. We've got a little freshwater canister as well, and then we have all our wash in there as well, so that's kind of that area kept away. We've then got just a little bit of storage above here just for our underwear and bits and pieces like that. And behind me, I'm not going to show you too much of that because our next video is all about how we created this area, but we've basically lost loads of storage since getting Taco, and yeah, that is what this area has turned into. It's his little den, but we'll talk about that more in the next video. Just above the fridge area, we've actually got a couple more cupboards. Again, they're quite decent size, so we do actually have quite a bit of storage in here, but this is where we keep things like toiletries, medical supplies. Amy's got our makeup here. We've got a box of cat toys and all sorts in here, and then we've actually got a control panel for all our electrics as well. So you've got little switches for lights, heater, pump, bedside, USB things, all sorts. We've also got our little Netgear router up here as well. So yeah, loads of storage, and then obviously all the fuses and things like that are actually behind that switch panel. So
this is our bed area. We have a fixed double bed. We didn't really want the hassle of packing it down, packing it up every day, because we are full time in here, which is why we've gone for the fixed bed.
Yeah, that would have been a nightmare every single night. So because we've got a double rather than a slightly bigger than double, it allows us to have a bit of space along the right hand side. So we've got a few storage boxes along there. There's bits and pieces in each of the boxes that just don't have a home anywhere else really. But we've also got like a bookshelf there, so we've got a few books there. We've got a little tea shelf as well that we made out of leftover pallet wood from the cupboards, didn't we?
Yeah, so we made these cupboards ourselves. They were kind of the first main thing we made ourselves.
I think they turned out all right.
Yeah, we were pretty happy with them considering we had no skills. But yeah, so we made them out of like reclaimed just pallet wood we found, and plywood as well. And then we got these little tags made from Solway leather. They did a really, really good job. They've got nice green stitching as well. There's 3 compartments that are all very good size to fit all our clothes in. Yeah, and then moving over this side, we've got a pinboard just with random pictures from random adventures over the last few years. We've got a little scratch map as well. Is it Europe? It's Europe, so not a lot is scratched off yet, but this year it will be. So if you do subscribe to this channel, we've got plenty of adventures coming up. But we've also got our little diesel heater on-off switch there, so we can actually reach it from bed over winter, which is quite handy, so you don't have to get up and it's ice cold before actually turning the heater on. But aside from that, that is kind of the bed area. We have got a skylight up here as well, like I mentioned earlier, but it's really handy. It's quite nice having it above us because we can actually lay down and look out. But there's also a couple of different blinds as well, so you've got like a fly screen, is it, I guess? Yeah. And then a blackout blind, so it's probably made things darker. But it's amazing how much of a difference this has made, not only to cooling the van down, but actual
having light in the back, because we didn't have that. We've got no windows either side here, so it was quite dark and dingy, but that has made a big difference. For the last part of the tour, we're going to have a look at all our storage area, and we did have a lot more space until we built Taco's area, which is the black bit you can see here. Like I say, we're not showing too much of that because the next video is all about how we cat-proofed the van and made it ready for Taco to actually live in here. So we've had to become a lot more organised than we already were. So we've got a van maintenance box, that's for all sorts of bits and pieces just to keep the van going. For example, we were in Scotland a couple of years back, the water tank fell off, so we had to replace all the metal stripping. We've got spares of things like that in there. We've got various screws, just a bit of all sorts. We've got all our toilet chemicals and things like that in there as well. We've then got a spare clothes box, and in here is basically all of our summer clothes in winter, all of our winter clothes in summer. We've then got a couple of comfy clothes boxes, so hoodies and joggers and things like that. We've got one each there, and then just some various boxes where we've got like our hiking shoes. We've got random bits and pieces, so boxes for the router, things like that, random bits that we never really need. We've got Amy's art box at the bottom as well. Got a carrier for Taco, so if we did ever need to take him to the vet and we can't take him somewhere on a harness, then we have got somewhere for him. And we've got a cable kit for if and when we do hook up. Like I say, if we're ever on a campsite, if we need to get a little bit more power over winter, then that's there. On that wall we've got a couple of longboards, which we never get a chance to use, but it's nice to have them just in case we do. And then further back are all of our electrics. I've touched upon them briefly, saying we've got 600 watts of solar on top. You know, boy, come on. So we've got 600 watts of solar on top, and we've got a 230 amp hour lithium battery, which is an EcoTree battery. They've done the whole install. It's been amazing. Like, it's been so good, hasn't it, since we had that done. Obviously we've got access to actually hook up as well, and that's on a 20 amp charger. So if we do ever need to go over winter, then we can do. I think that's about all the electrics, isn't it? Oh, we've got an inverter as well. We've got 300 watt inverter, so we can charge laptops, things like that. So yeah, that is all our electrics really. Everything works faultlessly. We can check everything on our phone as well. It's all Bluetooth. So we can see what percentage of battery we've got. We can see how much solar's coming in. So overall, everything works at the moment, doesn't it, Touchwood? Is that it? Is that the end of the tour?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. Well, if you want to see more of us, then obviously please do subscribe. We've got some really cool adventures coming up this year, because we're both quitting our jobs, so we can actually do it properly.
Use around and travel properly.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any recommendations as well, please let us know where we should go.